Hello, it is Heavy Things Done Lightly. This is the Reset Pod. This is me telling you about what we're doing. And this is a joy to be able to keep doing this for First Things Foundation, for all those guys out there who are doing hard work, for all the people they work with. But really, it's just a blessing to do this as a service. And today, we're going to talk about what exactly this is. And we're going to do it right after this most excellent music from Greg Gilbertson, our pal, who's also going to go play at the KP down at the Symbolic World. And if this comes out after that, you'll know that we threw one for all the pals down there in Tarpon Springs. Greg Gilbertson bringing us into today's podcast. So what are we doing today? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what is Heavy Things Lightly. It's just a podcast that was, why are we talking about rabbits? So what was Why Are We Talking About Rabbits? Well, if you've been listening, that was essentially a title that was born out of this story. It happens real fast. We were in the Georgian Republic. We got a bottle and we're toasting. And of course, the toast are two high things. And one of our American friends who's visiting, he makes a joke about frogs. My Georgian friends hear the toast as about rabbits because he makes a ribbit sound. And one of our Georgian friends says, why are we talking about rabbits? And thus was born our podcast. Why are we talking about rabbits? Because the idea is why the hell are we talking about rabbits? These things that, like the halftime show at the Super Bowl, which, by the way, I watch. I don't watch it. I watch it like a critic. In other words, if you're my kids, you hate watching it with me because I ruin it for everybody. Why are we talking about rabbits, ribbits? And what we've seen in talking about rabbits, in other words, trying to do things that are kind of high ideas, meaning what is ontology? What is theanthropology? Right? Which so many people are doing on the internet now, which they should be, and it's important. We decided to do those things very seriously, but with tongue in cheek a little bit. In other words, don't take ourselves too seriously. And yet, well, do the heavy things lightly. And that is our new brand, our new podcast. And so all the media stuff we're trying to do in order to reach people, to tell them about First Things, which is essentially this. Are you ready? If you don't know yet, I'm so excited just to share it with you. First Things, the first thing in life is human relationships, because that's who God gave us in order to know him. And someone just went, wait, this is religious. I don't know. It's just a thing. It's just a way to be, okay? When we know our neighbors and love our neighbors, we tend to learn about ourselves and then place ourselves properly in the world as lovers. And so this thing, right, is meant to help First Things and the first thing, which is to build human relationships. We do it at our restaurant. We do it overseas. We do it by sending people to very difficult, quote, material circumstances in places like Mozambique, Sierra Leone, Guatemala, the Georgian Republic, to live very simply in poverty, and to do it for 2 years at a time. I just got a call from one of our guys in Africa that his knee seems to be messed up. So he's at a little African hospital in a very, very dusty town in the very deep east of Sierra Leone, Kailan. And he's tough. We hope that his service to help other people build their best projects, that's what he does. He identifies through local language, local people who do amazing things. And then we help bring resources to their amazing little projects, little but beautiful. We think that's a proper way to add beauty into the world. That is First Things Foundation. That's what we do. But it turns out we do a lot of other stuff, including offering tables in the Georgian tradition to Americans who that's what they need. I know that many Americans are impoverished. That's not a debate. But in general, are kind of fat society with a lot of stuff. What we really need is to remember one another. And so that's our project in the United States. The Supra or the KP table at KP Restaurant. But now, soon, pay attention, we're going to offer it to the whole wide world. And it's going to be exciting. That's rolling out soon. What else is going on? Well, what we're really trying to do is use a historical framework so that all of us may at some point understand ourselves a little better, and then infuse into that historical framework something like a type of theanthropology, Orthodox ecclesiology, Christian conversationality, and do it all with a laugh. Because, guys, we've all become Puritans. We've become what we always were in the United States, Puritans. Now, we've just started doing it without God. In short, if you want to think about it, we argue about the truth as if it exists, but we do it without God. And so what happens is modern Puritans search for a truth that doesn't exist. It's a double whammy to culture. It's kind of crazy time if you think about it, right? So in order to find the truth, you can go check out, I don't know, like Eric Weinstein or whoever you want to find out. The scientists have provided all of the frameworks for the last 400 years. And it looked like those frameworks were going to make everybody happy until about, I don't know, 20 years ago, when everybody realized this is not working in their hearts, and now it's actually happening in their heads. Is that the ologies, biology, physiology, what's some others? Come on, guys, there's lots of them. Sociology, economic-ology, I made that up, but you get it. All the ologies that provide frameworks and data, they don't work. They don't provide love, beauty, and truth. They don't provide the other things. They just provide the data. And so this kind of very materialistic and ultimately nihilistic society has led people to doubt everything. Science, that thing which has been elevated as the method of all true things, is now in doubt. And we have postmodernism, right? We've atomized the world, and now some people are starting to realize it needs to be membered again. It needs to be remembered. It needs to be resurrected. It needs to be put again together as it should be. That doesn't mean you get rid of data. It just means the data has no purpose without it being fitted properly into a religion. Here on this show, religion is that thing which binds. Everybody's got one. When you get up in the morning, you have a way of being. And that being has presuppositions. It's like the ligaments in your body. You need them or your body falls apart. Everybody's got them. And when you collect them all and you realize these are the things that hold my body together, you've almost gone to the point of defining your good or your God. Everybody's got them. Even the nihilists who deny everything, their ligaments look like denial over and over again. So in this postmodern world, which is a chaotic world, our podcast sees something like a perfect opportunity to introduce or reintroduce the deep ideas of the ancient world, the old world, right? The earliest Christians. But what I really like to do is show that the old world had certain similarities. There was a woven texture out of which came all the ideas of antiquity, right? They're united on some level. That's not to say all religions are equal. Calm down. Calm down. Right now, there's somebody out there who's calm down. They're not all the same. Not all revelations lead to the same place. But there was a commonality to understanding the world. First and foremost, there was a knowing in all the old societies that what you see is not all there was. So much of this I've learned and our guys learned by living in a quasi-old world. When you go to Mozambique, I hate to tell you, It looks a hell of a lot more like 1422 than 2022. It just does. It just has these old world flavors still there. And by living there, you learn crazy stuff about yourself. Lastly, I just want you to know that we've learned if you talk about all this stuff with a little laughter, it tends to make people a little happier because humor is a good thing. In fact, I would argue that without humor, without a lightness, no heavy thing can exist. We're just back into puritanical Christianity. One of the stories I want to tell you guys is when I was living in Haiti as a Orthodox dude trying to help a parish. You could call me a missionary if you'd like. That's fine. My family and I lived in Haiti for about 1.5 years, and it was something. The single most important and loud and visceral and energetic conversation I had there, and it happened again and again and again, was with Protestant missionaries. Fascinating. Here's what that conversation was. You have to tell these Haitians that are interested in Christianity that they are saved. You must. That if they take Jesus into their heart, they're saved. You have to give them hope. I was like, yeah, absolutely. We have to be hope. We have to be loving. We have to be kind. And God will sort out the rest. People should be baptized. They should enter into the beginning so that they might have an end, and a proper one, for sure. But man, you should have seen those conversations. People would flip out. I'm not talking about Haitians. Haitians just thought we were weird. I'm talking about Protestant mission. I had one woman screaming at me in a car for like 30 miles. And what I realized is she was so sure, she was so heavy that my questioning, my willingness to say, well, I believe I'm saved, whatever that is. I'm with you. I'm good. I'm just not sure. Whoop, weep, 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 weep. And aruga. Like all hell broke loose in the car or at my house or at their house, wherever I was at dinner. Aruga. Like that's, what do you mean you're not saved? I'm going with yes, but I'm not sure. God can do all things, including, I don't know, change his mind on me. Well, I don't get it. Besides, how do I even know his mind? And then I wanted to use the very, 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 very politically incorrect word retarded, because that's what the conversation was over and over again. This is to say to you guys that we have to laugh. We have to be hospitable. We have to drink wine now and then, because a feast will inform you about how and who you are. I once had someone tell me, when you choose your wife, make sure you see that they fast, but more importantly, watch and see how they feast. So come do a feast. Keep watching our podcast. We are thankful for you. I love meeting people and doing this. My mother gave me this talent, if it is such a thing, to say, hey, let's sit down and talk. And somehow this weird, creepy internet is allowing me to do it. Forget me. Thank you for being a part of this. It's amazing. Guys, let's keep going. 2 Art of Tamadas this year, 7th and through the 10th in Washington State, in Leavenworth outside of Seattle, 7th through 10th in November. That's back down in Florida. We've got events all year. Mostly what we've got, though, is a little crew of amazing people. There's about 20 of us who just go out there day by day and try to serve the poorest among us by giving their life. All of it for 2 years. Guys, be with us. This is a toast to say goodbye. This is the traditional last toast. This is to all the peoples whose hands that make this thing possible, to the people who, I don't know, built this computer so that I might look into it like a weirdo, to the persons who built and blew this glass out of which I drink my little Diet Dr. Pepper, to Andrew, who sits and edits, to Corey, who actually sits and edits, to everyone who's ever laid a hand to anything that allows us to be together. To those forgotten names, we should remember some of them today. So to Andrew and Corey, my editors, we say to you the victory in Georgian Gagi Marjos, to all of you and to all of those people, may we remember them. See you soon on Heavy Things Lightly, our new rebranded podcast. Gagi Marjos.